I knew I had the formula to be able to get everything in place to prove a concept and run a successful ad, but I just kept running around in circles on the last step of actually launching and scaling the ad. And I finally just couldn't handle it anymore. I was tired of the abyss of courses. I was frustrated with every time I go through a process of thinking that this course is the last piece of my puzzle. I would literally internalize and justify spending $2,000 on a course that I thought was going to be the last game-changing piece of the equation, to walk away feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, and downright pissed off because there was still holes in what I learned. So I decided that I would never take a course again without some type of coaching attached to it. And I took it a step further. I decided I wanted a coach that was already doing everything that I wanted to do successfully.
So what are the key components to marketing and sales? How do some of the most successful entrepreneurs and business leaders set up freedom frameworks that we all got into business for in the first place? How did they find the time, energy, and resources to launch and scale strong? And how do rockstar entrepreneurs and business leaders with that champion mindset align their time, money, and energy in a way that will allow us to reach what we set out to achieve? These are the key questions, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Chamberlain.
And my name is Zach Shanky.
This is the Convert on Command podcast. Thanks for listening to the Convert on Command podcast, sponsored by Convert on Command and Mission Ignition Marketing. If you want to ignite your business and increase your sales, be sure to visit convertoncommand.pro and set up a time that works best for you in the calendar at the bottom of the page under the latest feature video.
Here we are. I'm super fired up because I got my, this week, the last few weeks, I've been kind of leading the teaching. And this week, we're doing a little flipperoo here where Zach's going to be taking it away for the next 6 chapters. In this chapter, I'm just like, first of all, let's talk a little bit more about Zach before we dive into the training today and the reading of this draft. There's so much value filled in this book, and I just cannot wait to see more people implementing a lot of what's being taught. But ultimately, what you need to know about Zach is that Zach is I would say, is a top 2%er in terms of media buying. Zach has served some of the most influential people in this space today. Okay, I'm not going to mention a name on here, but I can tell you that he served the mentor of mentors, who has mentored Tony Robbins, who's mentored Russell Brunson, who's mentored Peng Joon. We were talking about Dan Lok earlier today. He's mentored some of the most notable people in the space. And not only did Zach serve this individual, he got to learn from him, but he was literally being paid to serve him with his last agency. And his last agency, he literally went from 0 to just scraping 7 figures in just about 14 months. And so he knows a thing or two about building businesses, and he's very, very passionate about data. He is an analytical individual, and he's an amazing leader, probably one of the best leaders that I've ever come across. He's an incredible teacher. He's the one that also helps with building some of our courses. And I got to tell you, as I've been going through some of these things myself, it's just been a wild ride, and he's so good at it. I actually started with paying Zach to be my coach, and then we became business partners, and I just feel so honored to be able to work with him. So without further ado, Zach's going to be taking away chapter 7, draft 2, and this chapter is labeled Finding Your Freedom Map. And actually, really quick before we get into that, if you're watching this for the first time, whether it's on Facebook, you're listening to this on the podcast, or you're watching it on YouTube, or however you're ingesting this, if this is the first time you're here, we're literally writing a book called Passion to Profits. We're helping people that are in the trenches right now that are trying to turn their passions into profits online, because there's a big need for that right here and now to help people make pivots online so that they can thrive instead of just survive in the current conditions. And so we decided to write this book, and not only write from a place of experience or positioning ourselves as experts, based on what we know and the clients that we've served and all that kind of stuff. But we wanted to also involve people in that process and get them in, like, while we're writing, get them to actionize these things and also give us feedback so that we know that we're writing and giving the best possible product for an end result for the book when we release it in the first quarter of 2022, I think it would be. Right? Is that 2022 first quarter? I think I got that right. That's awesome. So basically there's 12 chapters, there's 12 weeks in a month. We've got 4 quarters. Every quarter represents a season and a draft. We are in season 2, draft 2. Zach, take it away.
All right. So actually, I might have to pass the mic back over to you because I forgot to mention this to you. You actually have a small little intro of chapter 7 in the beginning part. I don't know if you want to read that or you want me to go over that one.
Sure. Yeah, I'm more than happy to do that. Can you pull it up on the screen?
I just sent you.
You just sent me something?
I just sent you a link to it if you wanted to just pull it up real quick.
Okay, I can do that. I'm more than capable of it. And then I suppose I should share my screen then, should I?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. All right, so here we go. So as you can see, I made some notes. Are these the notes that?
So I did that.
You did all that?
I'll go over.
Do you want to go over that?
I'll go over it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that first. So this is just feedback, right? So the green check boxes are completed. The one black checkbox, that means, we want to do that. It's just not 100% there yet. The little check mark, that's something that we're considering. We just have to work out the details and see if it's feasible. And then an X means no. And this is feedback from our inner circle folks and videos. They sent in videos of their biggest questions, biggest takeaways, biggest feedback. And these are the things that they were looking for. So the first one is they want actual links to the worksheets that we're going to talk about here. And so I created a link there. So that's where people can get those worksheets. The second one that we're going to do, we just have to actionize it a little bit more, is a list of action items for what should be done and in what time frames. So we got to kind of sort that out first before we pop it in the book. So that's probably a draft 3 item. And then how to feel and have more empathy for your prospects. That's a hard one, but I do address it now in the book. Where do I begin? Like, what if I have no idea what my prospects are thinking and feeling? Okay, perfect. I address that now in the book. And then a way to get feedback from their attempts, filling out the forms. So basically those worksheets, they fill them out. They'd love a way to like get feedback on them if they did it right and things like that. So definitely something we want to work out a process for. We just don't have it just yet. Somebody asked for more information on upside, maybe with a picture and more explanation. So I put that in there. And then examples for every question, and I put that in there. And then best way to consume all of this without feeling completely overwhelmed. I have that in there as well.
Awesome. Okay. That's good, because we have mentioned, had some feedback where, wow, it was like there's so much information. It was like taking it in from a fire hose, I think was the, and we're breaking all of this down as simply as we possibly can, man. Like this, it is not necessarily easy to go through the steps. That's why people pay us a lot of money to do it, right? Like that's the reality of it. But, for those that really want to exercise that muscle, I wish somebody would have taken the approach that we're taking right now. I got to tell you right now, like this is something that like we've spent thousands of dollars in courses. I think between the two of us, we've easily broke $200K in courses, like coaching, all that kind of stuff easily. And it's just, this is what we've compiled from everything that we've learned. And so just really excited to you know, like go through this. So I'll start off because I do have a little part at the beginning of this chapter as I introduce Zach. So have you ever wondered why some people are able to make crazy amounts of money online, scale their business, and somehow have all this extra time and freedom to do what they want when they want? In this chapter, we're going to go over the foundational steps to being able to do just that, finding your freedom map. You're going to learn about how to identify your ideal client avatar. You're also going to learn how to create a clear message that converts, ultimately inspiring your ideal client avatar to action while repelling the wrong audience from you. Now, before we get into that, I need to introduce you to your head coach in the back half of this book, my partner, Zach Shanke. I think I did a variation of this already. He's a top 2% media buyer who's served some of the most notable coaches, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders of today. He has successfully and profitably managed hundreds of thousands of dollars in ad spend and continues to manage thousands of dollars a month profitably as it stands. And we aim to make that millions a month with an elite team of media buyers. And that's interesting because I don't know that if we have the same goals at this moment in time when I wrote this, when we, did the first draft, but I'll keep going here. That I think that we're going to be training quite a bit. Our whole focus has been about empowerment now. So anyways, I might have to make some slight tweaks there. We'll see. I actually met Zach on a journey of trying to crack the code of online advertising. I personally have spent thousands upon thousands of dollars in courses to try to learn how to make online advertising profitable. And I literally created a 6-step process, which is essentially what you are learning and then some in depth throughout the rest of this book. And essentially, the 6th step is scaling with ads, which once again, I struggled to accomplish for years until I met Zach. I knew I had the formula to be able to get everything in place to prove a concept and run a successful ad, but I just kept running around in circles on the last step of actually launching and scaling the ad. And I finally just couldn't handle it anymore. I was tired of the abyss of courses. I was frustrated with every time I go through a process of thinking that this course is the last piece of my puzzle. I would literally internalize and justify spending $2,000 on a course that I thought was going to be the last game-changing piece of the equation, to walk away feeling overwhelmed, frustrated, and downright pissed off because there was still holes in what I learned. So I decided that I would never take a course again without some type of coaching attached to it. And I took it a step further. I decided I wanted a coach that was already doing everything that I wanted to do successfully. I started putting out feelers, and I actually tried to hire my cousin to help me with my business ideas and campaigns. Although he had already helped me run a successful campaign, he didn't feel comfortable with taking on the responsibility of coaching me through what I needed. He felt that there would be somebody better for the position. So he introduced me to Zach, who he had met through another online community. And my cousin, he expressed that he couldn't guarantee that the price point of working with Zach was going to be a comfortable number. And it wasn't, but he did express that he felt this would be the absolute best fit. And so the conversation began. I learned very quickly that Zach was pretty darn good at what he was doing. And it didn't take long for that authority to be presented through a $10,000 a month coaching program, which definitely put a lump in my throat, but I was determined. And so we settled on a 3-month agreement that pushed me right outside of my comfort zone, yet it didn't kill me. And I got to just stop for a sec, because I should write a little bit more about this. I had to get a loan, and it wasn't from a bank. Bank wasn't going to loan me the money. I tried, and they wouldn't. So I went through family. Okay. And I was able to convince family to help me out with this investment. So on the first week of my one-on-one coaching sessions, I presented Zach with what I was working on. And one of the big areas of focus was my 6-step Ignite income system. And when Zach saw what I had on the table, he expressed that it was extremely scalable, and he wished his agency had something similar. He actually went into detail about, like, these are all the things that are in my head that I've been trying to, like, actually illustrate more. Right. So it led him to saying that we should go into business together. And this was music to my ears, as I didn't want to keep on spending thousands of dollars a month on coaching. Now, that said, he did not give me my money back. We set up an organic blitz plan and made a deal that once I made my money back, we would put together the partnership plan. So ultimately, we built a few offers together. My investment was paid back within a month and a half. Okay. That's important because like that's what we constantly look to duplicate with everybody that we work with. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's literally what we started doing. We put a few offers together. Now, did everything go smoothly all the time? No, it didn't always go smoothly. We had a couple of setbacks, but ultimately my investment was paid back within a month and a half. And we went on to grow our business together. You know, we registered the company in Wyoming, and the rest was history. This led to making our first 20K month within 2 months and onboarding an NHL Stanley Cup champion within our first 3 months of business. Now, within that time, Zach had expressed that he was thinking of selling his shares with his other agency and running our business together full time. He also expressed that the reason behind it was our mission, vision, and value systems and processes that he felt he was missing in his other organization. Now, I told him that he was crazy and that he should not make that move until we've at least matched or exceeded his current salary. And long story short, he didn't take my advice, and he partnered with me fully in both shares and time in September of 2020. Now, we've never looked back since. And although it hasn't always been sunshine and rainbows in regards to smooth sailing in business, we have enjoyed the process of overcoming some great problems and challenges on the journey together. We love what we do and who we work with, and we've built freedom frameworks for ourselves as well as our clients. Prime example, Zach took the day off yesterday. He had a headache. You know, like he got to decide to do that. I mean, some people can just make an excuse for COVID these days, I suppose, but but it's just so nice. And then he decided that he was going to work, last night. So it was just, it's cool, man, that we have the freedom to do that. So anyway, we built freedom frameworks for ourselves as well as our clients, and now we are here to do the same for you. So without further ado, meet your new business coach and mentor, should you decide to see him as such. This is Zach Shanky.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and make me host, and I'll share my screen so we can go through the chapter. But this is the meatiest of the chapters. This is the biggest one. It is the one that most people get that overwhelming feeling about. So just be patient with yourself on this stuff and just take it one step at a time. And I actually talk about that a little bit in the chapter. So thank you, Brian, for that killer intro and for sharing our story. The truth with any successful business person is that they only made it to that point through a lot of failing and learning from those failures. My goal throughout this last half of the book is to deliver all my hard-learned lessons in an easy-to-understand way. Before we dive into the marketing principles and concepts that you need to master in order to see amazing results, let me just say that the first 6 chapters of this book that Brian goes through with you are the most important aspects of business. I'm going to teach you some strategies and tactics for marketing, but they will do no good for you if you don't master yourself, your mindset, and your heart set first. So when it comes to marketing, and you'll see this, Brian, I'm actually creating a new little acronym here. When it comes to marketing, there are a few key ingredients that you have to have in order to see a positive ROI. And ROI stands for return on investment, or ROAS, which is return on ad spend. So here's the 3 ingredients. Number 1, you have to have the right audience. Number 2, the right message. And number 3, you have to have the right mega offer. Okay. We can refer to these ingredients as the ammo of your marketing. Okay.
Dang, dude, that's cool. That's fun. I like that.
So out of these 3 ingredients, which one do you think is most important? The answer is the audience. This chapter is mostly about identifying your ideal avatar. See, if you do this part right, it will help you shape the right message and the right mega offer as well. None of that will work or be effective if this first step is not done carefully and thoroughly. That said, take your time. As a very experienced marketer and researcher, it can take me a solid 8 hours to do this kind of work, and it's worth every second. We go into a lot here in this chapter, so just take it one step at a time and feel free to wait until step 1 is done before you go to step 2. Wait on step 3 until step 2 is done, and so on. I have some tools that will help you set things up properly and help you get into the minds of your prospects. So first, what is an ideal avatar? So an avatar is nothing more than a description of who you want to buy your products and services. On the surface, this seems pretty easy. If I'm selling a weight loss product, my ideal avatar is someone who is overweight. If I'm selling a product, how to pick up a new date, I'm looking for someone who's single. If I'm selling a book on how to turn your passion into profits, I'm looking for someone who's ready for a new level of life, right? So what I just wrote out are examples. What I just wrote out for examples is what most business leaders do, but there is so much more to it than what you see on the surface. Let me break down some examples of what the average marketer does versus what can really happen when you get your avatar down pat. So here's the weight loss example. Here's the average not effective way. If you're tired of being overweight, but you don't have the willpower for a strict diet, then check out my weight loss supplement. Okay, that's average. Next level marketing. Disgust rolls over me when I look at myself in the mirror before a shower. I don't even want to glance at the scale because it'll only make things worse. I've tried every diet known to man, and they're all just too challenging to maintain. You see the difference? One only states facts or events, while the other one dives deep into the thoughts of the potential buyers. Thoughts that they likely will not say out loud. So here's another one, dating example. Here's average. If you want love in your life again, stop going to bars hoping someone will talk to you. Instead, learn our strategy that has helped hundreds find their soulmate. That's average. Okay. Next level marketing. I don't even know why I still spend time on these dating apps. Nothing good actually comes from them. It's either people just looking to hook up or people way out of my league. What chance do I have? I'm too old and don't make enough money to get into a great relationship.
Oh, that's some, those are some
So,
serious.
That's the difference. Passion to profits example. Okay, here's average. Get rid of the 9 to 5 and finally make money while doing your passion. Okay, pretty straightforward and average. Next level marketing. I sat in my car dreading going back to work. I just picked up my lunch from Subway and had 10 minutes before I had to be locked behind my cubicle dealing with things I no longer cared about. Is this it? Is this what I'll be doing the rest of my life? Okay, you see how the difference is there is just astronomical, and all of it has to do with the audience here. So the only way to be able to build out key messaging like that is to really get inside your avatar's mind. Here's our process broken down into 3 steps to getting your ideal avatar and converting message. So step 1 is the competitive analysis, competition analysis. Step 2 is the empathy map. Step 3 is the freedom map. The most common struggle with this is, where do I start? My favorite place to start is with competitors. We have a worksheet that you can use to help you drill through your competitors' messaging and find out exactly who their avatar is. And so I'll show you this. If we click on this link here.
Nice. Dude, that's cool. That's new. That's new. Yeah. Draft 2 new.
This is new.
That's new. I like.
Of course, now my internet doesn't want to load for me.
Come on, internet. Boom.
Okay. So here's the competition analysis, empathy map, freedom map. And so you can just make a copy of these in your own Google Drive and rock and roll.
Dang, dude. Sick.
From there, it's going to be easier to go through your own avatar in detail. I want to go through a real example with you here in this book. So a competition analysis example. Let's say I'm promoting a weight loss supplement. I need to go through at least 3 different competitors using the competition analysis worksheet. For now, I'm going to go through just one here with this example. So one of my competitors would be Hydroxycut. So I would pull open the worksheet and go to hydroxycut.com, and I would also view their Facebook page and any ads they're running in order to extract the information I need. One quick concept we need to cover first is the idea of levels of awareness. This is a marketing concept created by one of the greatest marketers of all time, Eugene Schwartz. Every prospect for business falls into one of 5 levels with regard to how aware they are of the solution or product the business offers. So the 5 levels of awareness, they're also often referred to as upside and can be visualized like this. So the biggest part of the pyramid is unaware of problem or solution. Then the orange, the smaller, problem aware but not of the solution. The green one here, solution aware but not of your product. The other green one, aware of your product but not sold. And the blue one here, just need the deal ready.
So it's aware of your product, your product and service, just not sold. And then, just need the deal. This is so important, because if you have a message, like a prime example would be real estate, where we recently ran an ad in real estate. And if you understand, like right now, real estate, the market is that there is a shortage of inventory, right? And most real estate agents, okay, they have a problem aware message. Hey, you got a house you want to sell? Come talk to me. We'll get it sold real quick. Here's the problem with that message is that 9 times out of 10, there's 2 kinds of people. And we figured out there's 2, you're going to learn about elephant in the room here, but there's 2 elephant in the room questions. And one is, first of all, like 90%, or I can't tell you an exact percentage, okay? But there's a lot of people that have no idea they're sitting on a gold mine. They have no idea as a homeowner that they have the power right now, okay? The other side of that is when they figure out they have the power, or some people already know they have the power. The problem is, once I sell my house, how the heck do I buy a new one when the market is missing inventory, right? That's a problem. So we need to be able to speak to those 2 points and come to a solution with all of that. If you can answer those questions, you will get the deals. You'll attract the right people. Yeah. But the point is that most people right now are doing a problem where it's not the right message for the market. Right. So you have to get the right message to market match. And in order to even do that, you need to identify where your audience is in these levels, these 5 levels of awareness. And once you know that, now you can position the right message for the right person in that target audience. So anyway, keep going.
And the competition analysis does ask you, like, what level of awareness is your avatar? That's why we have to explain this before we dive into that analysis. So here are a couple examples of what this would look like depending on your industry. So for weight loss, level 1 is someone that doesn't view their current weight as a problem. They are unaware. Okay. Level 2 is someone that does see their weight as a problem. They just don't know of any solutions. Level 3, someone that sees their weight as a problem and that they know they need a blank solution to fix it. So that solution could be like a supplement, dieting, exercising, etc. Right? Level 4, someone that sees their weight as a problem. They know that they need a dietary supplement, and they know about ABC supplement, right? Like that's the product aware. And then level 5, they're just ready to buy. Okay. Dating, same kind of thing. So we start with the unaware level. Someone loving single life, and they don't view that lifestyle as a problem. They're unaware. Level 2, someone that sees being single is a problem and they are aware of it. They just don't know of a solution, right? Level 3, someone that sees being single as a problem and they know they need a solution. Let's just say dating apps. They know they need dating apps. Level 4 is someone that sees being a single as a problem. They know they need dating apps and they are aware of ABC Dates app. Okay, I'm just making up products here. And level 5, they're ready to buy. Okay, so these are just
and first of all, I don't think like people need to understand is that we're not pinpointing any of these things being a problem, though. Like, for example, is there a problem with being single? No, but how one perceives it is important if you were selling that, right?
This is the perception of your ideal avatar.
Yeah.
Where are they at on
Where
this?
are they at in their journey, in their world? Like, how do they perceive the world? If you understand how that, then you'll know how to give them what they want. That's what marketing and sales is all about. Giving people what they want.
Yeah. So now we can move on to our competition analysis example. For best understanding, you can go to hydroxycut.com and you can see why I wrote down these answers below. So here's the worksheet filled out for hydroxycut. And these are the questions that are being asked on the competition analysis. So what is the primary purpose? Weight loss, while implying everything else is just a fad. So their headline says no fads, just weight loss. Okay. What level of awareness are they appealing to? See, so this is where upside comes in handy. They are appealing to problem aware. They are talking to people who are aware of their weight loss problem and are seeking a solution. Okay. Credibility and proof. They have tons of case studies on their website. Now, if this was a real research project, I'd put a link here. I'd put a link to those case studies. Unique selling proposition. So USP, how is their product or service differentiated from other solutions? A couple of things. They note that it just works, and they also talk about how good their product tastes. Okay, so it just works and it tastes delicious. Another USP is they really show a lot of social proof, and it makes it more like a culture or a movement, right? So that's very different from other supplement products out there. Number 5, list of benefits, usually listed in bullet points. Really, they just keep saying it works, and they show weight loss before and after pictures while mentioning more energy. So they don't really have like a list, a bullet point. Deliverables, features of the offer, different packages depending on what product you need. Do they have any value justification? They do offer discounts and promos. Do they have risk reversal? Their only return policy applies if the product is unopened. Once opened, there are no returns. Okay, so like if I legit wanted to sell my own supplement, boom, that's how I beat hydroxycut. Right? We guarantee 30 days and then or your money back. Okay. So main objections. So the other challenges, usually these are in the frequently asked questions area. So sure enough, they had an FAQ. So does it work? Is it safe? How much weight can I expect to lose? What are the ingredients? What are side effects? Are the success stories real? How fast will it start working? What products should I get? These are great questions, guys, that you can actually implement into your own marketing, because these are kind of all questions that people have surrounding this particular product, right? Bonuses. So there aren't any bonuses listed for hydroxycut, but this would be where you might see something like 50% off this month only, or 50% off for the next 100 customers. It'll have some time frame attached or an amount attached. This is either called urgency or scarcity. So urgency is there's a time frame. You get this promo for X amount of time. Scarcity is there's a limited number of things. Number 11, price and terms. This one, the price completely differs on the product, but most of them are between $20 to $30. After answering all these questions, is there anything that you see that your competitor missed that you could take advantage of? It's not that they missed something, but they misprioritized their information. They had their objections in the Q&A section, but they should feature 2 or 3 of them on the front of their website because that's what people really want to know before buying. Also, I guess they're missing on the guarantee. Okay, so they don't have a guarantee and they don't answer any of these Q&As. I had to hunt them down. They should have those big elephant in the room questions up in the front. Mm-hmm. How can you be different and superior in your offer from this offer? You have a solid guarantee, have more to the offer than just the products. Maybe healthy recipes or some exercise videos with every purchase. Feature the main objections, 2 or 3, right up front, because there's nothing to hide. Okay, so that's one competitor analysis, guys. So you see how you analyze their website, their Facebook page and stuff like that, and then these last questions at the end here help you to see how you can maybe shape your own business and your own offer to be better. Okay, so that's it for competitor analysis. If you do that for 3 to 5 competitors, you will start to see patterns emerge and truly find your place in the market. Go and do those worksheets now. After going through 3 to 5 of them, you will be much better prepared for the next steps. Okay, the next step is to figure out what your ideal avatars are thinking. To do that, we have another worksheet to fill out. It's called an empathy map and is exactly what we use to get into the minds of our clients to help them make the right buying decision. We're going to keep going along with the weight loss example to go through the empathy map worksheet right here. I recommend going through 2 of these, one for males and one for females. In this example, we're just going to do a generic example. Any comments before we get into the empathy map, Brian?
No, man. This is probably the most challenging thing that one could probably do. Would you agree? To get started, is the foundation. And you may have seen me yawn a couple of times in this in this training, not because this is not information that it can feel a little monotonous as you're going through it, but I'll tell you what, again, this is where, if it was sexy, everybody would be doing it. That's the reality of it. If it was sexy, everybody would be doing it. And honestly, I don't know that Zach is, again, such an amazing presenter in terms of how he's presenting this. But yeah, ultimately, this is information that isn't a sexy process. Like even this process, you said that you can spend up to 8 hours going through it sometimes. It's just not sexy. And if everybody would be doing it, the whole world would be different. I'll tell you what. Yeah. But ultimately, this is something that I want to encourage you to fully dive into and understand and soak it in and start implementing, because when we see, again, end result for this and for our clients is that they're averaging right now, what's Jason and Porter averaging? I think you said like $6 leads this morning.
Yeah, $5 to $6.
$5 to $6 leads where people are booking like time in the calendar and everything. They're getting the gift and all that kind of stuff. Like, this is when you understand this stuff and you present it properly, the results are just through the roof. It's amazing, and these are guys that were just getting an idea off the ground a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. And now they're shaping like a killer offer because they ended up getting all of these good conversations rolling through, people wanting it, and they're still developing a phase 2 and a phase 3. But the point is that like that's a fun process to be going through in your businesses, right? Like, the more conversations you have with the right people, the more the rest of it becomes more clear. But you got to phase this out. Phase 1, this is the foundational step. Like, everybody should, if you're remotely serious about marketing your business, these are things that you should know.
Exactly. So this is going over the empathy map. This is where I know a lot of people struggle even more with this, and I'll explain some of the problems that people had at the end of going through it. But basically what this does is it goes over what do they see, what do they hear, what do they think, that kind of stuff. So it starts out with what do they see, and what do they see that they have? What do they see that they don't have but they want? So again, we're going over this ABC supplement thing. They see amazing looking people that are in shape and have lots of energy. What challenges do they face on a day-to-day basis? Stress. They feel like they're not in control of their life, and so don't feel that they can add any kind of weight loss routines to their already hectic life. Who are they surrounded by? Family, who are also out of shape. It's like the blind leading the blind and justifying it. Okay, this is just an example, guys. What offers are in their inbox? Tons of easy weight loss solutions. Then we move into what do they hear? So what do those in their orbit say? You need to accept and love your body. Okay. Eating healthy is too expensive. That's another thing. So there's two things here. Okay. And again, Brian and I don't support or whatever anything like fat shaming, nothing like that. This is literally an example. If we were selling ABC supplement, this would be like the ideal client is what they would be hearing. Okay. Whose opinion do they respect the most? Their parents. What's on their playlist? Dr. Oz and similar podcasts. Have they heard that someone else has the solution they're looking for? Yes, they're constantly bombarded with weight loss ads. Okay, next, what do they think and feel? What do they secretly desire? So answer the question, if I could only, and they secretly desire to be sexy and for people to notice how healthy they are and look. What moves them? Money is a big driver for them, but family is most important. What are their dominant feelings? Stress. What feelings do they want to experience? They want to feel like they're in the driver's seat of their life. Okay, what do they say and do? So how do they carry themselves? What's their attitude? They're super kind and nice. They respect everyone. What's the story they tell themselves and others? That it's okay to be a little overweight, even though they're more than just a little overweight. Are their actions in alignment with what they say? Yes, they still eat fast food and nighttime fatty snacks. How do they justify their failures? Buyers are liars. There are more overweight people than in shape ones. If it's okay for everyone else, it's okay for me. Then we go into their pains. Okay, what are their pains? What frustrates them most about their day? Unexpected changes and challenges to the normal routine. What's the root cause of their pain? Being overweight affects their emotions and stress handling. What do they not do for fear of ridicule? They don't go to the gym. And what's the biggest risk to taking action? It's just going to get worse and harder to get back to health. Next, we go into the next section here. What do they gain? Okay, so what do they stand to gain from taking action? Steps in the right direction on their journey to good health. How do they measure a win? Lower numbers on the scale, fitting into smaller clothes. How does your offer help them gain the most? We provide the right education and supplements to help them succeed. How can you take them from zero to hero? Buy the supplement, get the training and dieting videos to completely customize your weight loss plan. And then finally, to wrap up the empathy map, here are the 4 questions at the bottom. What is your ideal client's primary desire? They desire to lose weight so they can look and feel great. What is their client's primary pain point? Not feeling confident is how they look. Not feeling confident in how they look due to being overweight. What is their primary objection? I've tried everything. Nothing works for me. And what is their why? Like, what is their biggest why behind their desire? They want to have the energy to truly be with their kids. They also want to set a good and healthy example for them. Whew. I know that's a lot, guys. Okay, so that's an empathy map.
And wouldn't you actually want to have 3 of those points in each one of those points? Or
we'll get to
later.
That's okay. That's later. But that is it's a long process. And again, you should have 2 of those, one for male, one for female, depending on your product. Obviously, if you're a women's coach, like you only have to have 1, right? But that empathy map is like a reference that we use when we're writing copy and other things later on that you'll learn. Okay, so a common challenge that comes up when starting your first empathy map is having trouble finding the empathy and figuring out what they are thinking and feeling. My best advice here is simple. Talk to prospects and ask them. Okay, one way to do this is you can go into Facebook groups and make a post like this. I'm doing some market research for my company, and I'm looking for five volunteers to let me ask them some questions and get to know my prospect better. For those willing to help me with this, I will give you this free gift. No sales will happen. This is strictly for our own research, for our future marketing efforts. Then just converse with 5 people and go through the empathy map questions with all of them. You will start to see a pattern. Okay. So if you can't come up with it, find your prospects Find your prospects and talk to them and go through those questions with them. Okay. So now you have 3 to 5 competition analysis complete, as well as 2 empathy maps. Now you're really starting to see who it is you want to serve and who you can best serve with your product and service. The last step is filling out your freedom map based on what you've done so far. Before I go into that, I want to briefly talk about a concept that revolutionized my own marketing. This concept is something that you should keep at the forefront of your mind while going through the freedom map. The concept is call out the elephant in the room. Basically, when people read your ad or visit your website, they'll typically have one main question that they want answered before taking the next step. Don't hide that question, but instead display it and answer it up front. For example, our website at convertoncommand.pro talks about our marketing services, but about halfway down, there's a section with the headline, "How much does it cost?" And we proceed to answer the question, okay? By the time you're reading this, that page may have changed, but I'll bet you that there's some sort of elephant in the room that we call out because it's key to successful marketing. Okay, so now here's the final step in creating that clear message that converts for your ideal avatar, and it's to fill out this freedom map. We'll keep going with the same ABC supplement example. So here we have the freedom map, and we have 2 different graphs. And so the first graph, we want to talk about core problems, which is like their pain, and then solutions you can teach to, or offer is the unique selling proposition. So the pains are overweight, they're disgusted with their own appearance, and too much going on to add losing weight to their mental bandwidth, right? They're too busy. Unique selling proposition, the right supplement, diet and exercise education, and simple routines that take 30 minutes a day. Okay, so these are solutions to those pains. They correlate here. Graph 2, we have desire, reason why, and reason why not. So it's the result, the reason why, and the objection. So the desire is to lose weight. Why? I want to tucker my kids out and then have energy left over for the wife. Okay, this is from Brian. this is
Yeah.
Yeah. And you notice there's only one why. Okay, it's the same why throughout. I mean, that's what it should be. It's like the ultimate why. Okay, and then the objection, they don't have any time. Okay, so the desire, the result, they want energy. The objection to that is healthy diet is too expensive. They want to look great. The objection, I've tried a million things, nothing works for me. Okay, so now you have all these you have 3 pains, 3 unique selling propositions, 3 results, 1 why, and 3 objections. Okay, we'll put all this together in another chapter, okay, but it's really important to have these assets. So here's actually where we start to kind of fill it out a little bit, fill in the elements. So you insert different combinations from that grid above into the statements below, okay? So for example, how we go from pain to why. Here's what that would look like. How we go from being overweight, which is this pain over here, overweight. How we go from being overweight to having enough energy with our kids, which is the why. Okay. Another example, how we go from pain to result without objection. So you see what I'm doing? I'm grabbing one of these pains, I'm grabbing a result, I'm grabbing an objection.
I see it. You know what? You know how we've gotten feedback about illustrations? I wonder if there's a way in the future that we can, because I know why we're looking at the graphs the way that we are, because we've been taught that way, right?
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if there's a more elementary way for us to take this and bring it to life with design.
Yeah.
And I just, because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, just honestly, right? And this is because we've been taught like this, right? But if we're teaching people that are getting, and that's us ingesting this from a standpoint of like, we are hungry for this, right? Yeah. Most people who are going to be going through this aren't necessarily hungry to learn this, but they know that they need to. And so I'm just wondering if there's another way, and that's just another conversation we can have. But just throwing it out there, I know we're live right now we're going through this, but I see everything that you're
All
saying.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. And I'm just thinking to myself that I think we can jazz this up. I believe that we can
Yeah. I
keep
agree.
cruising.
I agree. So, like the second one here, so how we go from pain to result without objection. So, how we go from being overweight is the pain to looking great is the result, even though nothing else worked. That's the objection. See this? I've tried a million things, nothing worked.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just some examples, and I have a few more here. Just inserting different pains, different results, different objections, and there's like 6 different headlines that you can use here. And this is just to kind
Different
of
variations.
get that working. We will actually be using these in the ads as we go to chapter 12. Okay, but this is where it
And
starts.
when we say these, we mean your versions of your own elements.
Right.
And yeah, that's super important because like again, we're making data-driven decisions. Why is it important to have so many different variations of this? You need to understand that when we run an ad, we don't want to make based on speculation. We know this about our ideal avatar, but there's so many different variations. So why don't we take 3 of what we feel to be the strongest that we've done the research on, and then let's run data to each one, and that the ones that are the best, they will surface based on the numbers. Okay, well, that one, the audience decided that one. And I think we've had scenarios where you've run 3 and you were like, oh man, that one's got to be the winner. And then somehow you were thrown off guard because the one you didn't think would win somehow won.
Yeah.
You had some
happens.
scenarios like that.
Oh, quite a few. Like probably the biggest one that surprised me was with turf, because turf, like I'm thinking like, oh, I want my yard to look good. I want something that's going to last through the crazy hot summers in California. But what ended up being the biggest pain that people wanted is they didn't want to waste water. So they were all about how turf conserved their water.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting? And that was the thing that killed it for us.
Yeah. Interesting.
So you never know. So that's why we have these, and then we have a method to really test and hone in on which one is the strongest pain, what's the strongest result, what's the strongest objection. And we'll definitely we'll be getting to that later. But this is kind of, if we bring it back to just fill in the blanks with these particular headlines, how we go from pain to why, how we go from pain to result without objection, just filling those out, you're going to be in a really good position for later once we talk about running ads. So then step 4 of your freedom map is called empathize. So this is where you want to paint the picture of the most common scenario that causes your ideal client pain. You kind of want to walk a mile in their shoes. Again, this is to get the juices flowing with kind of, you're not going to actually use this as an ad, but it's to kind of get yourself into the mind of your prospect. So here's what I wrote for ABC supplement. By the time dinner rolls around, I'm already exhausted from the stresses I go through at work. On top of dinner, my amazing kids just want to spend time with me and play with me, but I'm usually just too tired. I feel awful because I really want to spend time with them. I'm just getting older and I'm not in shape at all. I've tried a million diets and exercise routines, but none of them were truly sustainable, and so they simply didn't work. I wish there was something simple I could do for 30 minutes a day so I could improve my health without it consuming all my mental bandwidth. Okay, so you can see I kind of sprinkled in certain things like mental bandwidth, how much time they have per day, something simple. They've tried a million things that didn't work. I'm kind of sprinkling in all those little pains and objections into this little snippet. Okay.
You're addressing
again, just gets the juices flowing. Okay, so then number 5 is what they don't know. So this depends on your level of awareness. Okay, so in this case, we are talking to problem aware. So I filled this out here, and then solution aware, I basically put in an example if we were targeting that. But if you're targeting unaware or problem aware, you want to list out 3 to 5 solutions that your product or service provides that your audience is not aware of. So simplicity instead of confusing people with insane amounts of science. You don't have to be a biologist to lose weight. Okay. Short and effective workout routines to isolate the right places that you need to lose weight to look and feel great. Easy diet routine that doesn't feel restrictive and doesn't break the bank. Okay. So these are kind of just some ideas, 3 to 5 solutions. And now, if it was solution aware, you want 3 to 5 problems with the current solutions in your industry. So for this ABC supplement example, we're going to go after problem aware. But if we were doing solution aware instead, it would look like this. Other supplements have negative side effects. Other supplements taste awful. Other supplements have been proven to be less effective.
And this is like calling out your competitor, right? Like we do that a lot. Like I'll talk about what the other agencies are doing that you're wanting to avoid, like the churn and burn model and all that kind of stuff, right? Like this is what's happening consistently. And a lot of our clients have already experienced that. So when we talk about it, we're addressing it.
Yeah.
And that shows a deeper level of empathy, right?
Right.
So.
Right. And then for everyone, so regardless of what you're targeting, problem aware, solution aware, it doesn't matter. What are the 4 to 5 whys your audience is looking for? So in this case, energy with kids, example for kids, look and feel great, increased confidence. Okay, these are just some things that we can address in copy and messaging and stuff. What makes your solution, your USP, different from your competition? Okay, so there's an A, B, C, D, and E here. So I'm going to go through all of them. So A is, do you have like a 3-step, 5-step, 7-step, et cetera, process that you can create a checklist around or video around? In this example, there's actually not, because this is just selling ABC supplement. There's not like a process, but we're going to fill these things out just as an example. So 3-step weight loss for less system. That would be an example. Do you have a one big thing that you can teach? So our one big thing is proving that people can't get into their peak performance without supplements. Other ones that I've seen in this market is saying something about how cardio prevents weight loss, right? That's a really good example of a one big thing that they teach, right? Do you have some type of recipe, workout, copy and paste template that people can have to help them get immediate results? Yep, we've got recipes and workout routines specific to your body type. D, do you have a proprietary blend or active ingredient? Yes, there's a proprietary blend. This is, again, just for ABC supplement. How do you achieve their desired result with your USP? So is it cheaper, faster, efficient, less risk, less energy expended? So this is easier and it's less energy or mental bandwidth. Okay, we're almost done. This is the last bit of the freedom map. Okay, tapping into the belief system. So problem aware, why they believe it doesn't work, because they've tried a million things that doesn't work in the past, like keto. Okay, and so step 7, you know what? I actually need to highlight this because there's actually more to it than that, and I forgot to add the other ones. So my bad. I'll fix that. So now you have everything that you need to create the best marketing campaign right out the gates. Okay. And guys, this is no joke. Right out the gates. Like we just launched our last 2 launches. One of them, they wanted a goal of 20 leads in a month. They got that in like 4 days. Okay. So that's amazing. That's amazing. Another one, we honestly had no idea what to expect, but we are getting leads like up the wazoo, like $8 per lead, like crazy, into a Facebook group. We had no idea what to expect on that one, but that is above expectations, I can guarantee you. And that is really exciting stuff. Out the gates, you're going to start getting results because you did the research, you did the work up front. And we're not the only ones preaching this, by the way. If you find any like real mentors out there, they're going to tell you the same thing. You got to do the work up front to make the rest of it work so much better and so much more smooth, right? So you know exactly what your clients are seeing, what they're hearing, what they're thinking, what's going to motivate them to make a buying decision. You even have written out some short sample headlines and copy in the Freedom Map to give you a solid start moving into the copywriting portion of the book. You now know who your ideal avatar is. You have a clear message that converts. This part takes the longest and is the most difficult part of marketing. However, it is also the most rewarding part, as all marketing success stems from these exercises you just completed. Can't wait to show you what's next.
Yeah. That's like, again, it is like, it's a lot of information. If it's the first time, like for me, I've been taught different, like Zach has also taken a lot from different places, right? Like we've both been a part of a few different groups and a few different organizations that they were teaching specific elements, and we're kind of emulating some of those things. Not copying, we're emulating. Reality is like everything. If you look up guys like Story Brand, if you look up guys like there's another guy who does the pastor method. I don't know if you know
thing, yeah.
Pastor, like like I think that's where Story Brand kind of originated from. Another guy named Chris Rochelo, he's got a very, very unique epic formula method. And there are so many different variations of this, and we've kind of taken the best of what we've learned from each of these monsters in their own fields and kind of created our own thing here. Like ultimately, the one thing that I've never seen anybody else do, which Zach has brought into the equation here, is this elephant method. And I can't tell you how many times that elephant method has really taken our funnels to another level. Like, and how are we able to actually say that and address that is the fact that we were running ads and we can actually see the behaviors on the page. Okay. Because we actually have a thing called Hotjar that we link up to these funnels. And so we can tell based on the front end with numbers, if it's a specific ratio, we're getting awesome amounts of traffic moving from the ad to the actual page. But then if we're not getting results in the second, like on the actual page, we go and we look at the behaviors on Hotjar. So we can actually say, oh, they're all going up to that point, but then they're leaving. What is the question that they have there? And then we literally go through, what's the elephant in the room question? What's the elephant in the room question? Zach actually came up with this method. And I'll tell you, there's been like one time now we actually had to address 2 elephant in the room questions. And the moments that we added in, like, those little pieces before going on to the next step, it has literally like lit funnels on fire.
Yeah.
And so it's those extra principles and those extra things that I feel makes this really unique. And I know when you're looking at a spreadsheet, it can be, yeah. And I think that's an area I'm just noticing it. I just noticed it today. I didn't notice it last time, but I'm noticing it today. And I just know that that's an area that we can improve on that. And we can make this a little sexier. And that's the goal for everybody, right? And what are we going to do? In the last chapter, we talked about like perfection to progress.
Yeah.
Right. Like even here, we're exercising that as we go. Right. And I think that this is just awesome. Like the actual information here is amazing. And one of the big things that we stand behind is simple cells.
Yeah.
Right. If you confuse, you lose. So ultimately, we got to sometimes bring it back to elementary and actually draw it out and create pictures and little stick figures and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's a little something that we can improve upon with this, just kind of off like what hit me today here going through this experience. But ultimately, this information, I will tell you, we've got a mentor. I won't mention his name because I love him so much. But at the same time, the teaching is so dry. It's very, very consistently sheets, and that's not typically, honestly, if you go into our Leads on Demand course with Zach, I'm going through it right now. He literally step by step, so you share a screen that goes through this process, and like, it's so awesome and so much fun. Not always is every course and everything that you go through always that way. Now it's hard. How are we going to do this in a book? That's another reason why we're doing this right now. Yeah. That's why we're going through this process and building the book the way that we are, because we want this to be the absolute best once it gets published, right? I don't know how many people would actually write it and do it like this and wouldn't get any feedback and wouldn't go through this process and then they'll just publish it.
Yeah.
And then, it's like a lot of people building courses first and trying to sell courses. Like, you're doing it so backwards, So anyway, that's just my little piece of feedback and just being real at the end of the podcast today. But we want to thank you for hanging out with us. If you were hanging out with us live today, if you're listening or watching this, on a recording, we want to encourage you to go check out what's the link we want to point them to right now. Passion to Profits. Go to convertoncommand.pro/passion to profits season 2. And on that link, you'll get a breakdown of a little bit more on how you can get some extra support throughout your journey of turning your passion into profits. So we want to wish you all the best. Yeah. Oh, wait, but before we dive off, Zach, is there anything else that you want to express or dive into?
I mean, not really. I mean, I guess just hang in there. Like, this is, I know chapter 7 is the beefiest, the meatiest part. It's the hardest chapter in this whole book. But it's also kind of the foundation to the marketing side. Chapters 1 through 6 is the foundation for your business and is necessary. This is the foundation to all the rest of the marketing stuff that we'll be going into throughout.
Well, and honestly, like, building a foundation to a house is super boring. And then by the time you have the house, it's like, excited to go move in, right? So it's like, it's the same concept here. That's the reality of it. So we're going to do everything we can to make this a little bit more sexy. But for the most part, like, again, if it was sexy, everybody would be doing it. And that's the reality of it. So maybe we might be able to do that in the process, because I haven't come across anything, to be honest, in my career of marketing and sales through these kinds of courses that have actually presented this excruciating piece of the puzzle in a sexy way.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge that maybe we want to see if we could take it on. But ultimately, this is what is going to help you make your marketing profitable.
Right.
And it's not sexy, and that's the reality of it. But if you can get past that, you're gonna light your thing on fire. Like, again, marketing and sales, 3 simple steps: create a clear message that converts, a compelling offer that inspires your audience to action, and then a strong deliverable, a system that over delivers on both experience and expectation. There's more layers to those 3 steps. That's it broken down simply. Now, once you get these 3 steps figured out for you, your systems and processes, your business, you add traffic to that, you light it on fire. These are the layers in between. This is the unsexy stuff that needs to get done in that process. And really what we covered here is like step number 1 of creating a clear message that converts and its entirety, right? So anyways, again, thanks for hanging out with us. We want to wish you all the best in health, wealth, and relationships. God bless you. Chat soon.
You guys.
Thanks for listening to the Convert on Command podcast, sponsored by Convert on Command and Mission Ignition Marketing. If you want to ignite your business and increase your sales, be sure to visit convertoncommand.pro and set up a time that works best for you in the calendar at the bottom of the page under the latest feature video.